certainly proud of the group that finished the game. Ray J. Dennis, Quentin Jackson, Johnny Furphy, Enrique Freeman, and Tony Bradley. Really were, showed so much courage and fortitude and wherewithal and resilience. It was amazing. And so really because of those guys, we have a 50-win season, which is something to really be proud of. I'm also informed it's the biggest comeback in Pacer history, and it's also the biggest comeback in the NBA this year. So really proud of those guys in particular for their efforts. Before those guys got into the game in the second half, we weren't playing very well, and we've had struggles in recent games. So we have work to do this week to be prepared. We've drawn an opponent that is playing at an extremely high level. Have a couple of the best players in the world, and we're starting off at home, which is a different kind of challenge. And so this week, we're going to have to prepare for the kind of intensity that's necessary. Going to make a lot of appeals to our fans that Gainbridge Fieldhouse on game 1, game 2, has got to be the craziest place on the planet. And we're going to need every bit of help that we can get. We're excited for the challenge of the playoffs, but we have work to do this week.
Rick, what was key messaging-wise, either from you or internally from the team when you were down, 23 in the fourth quarter that got everybody going?
Well, we had shown a few signs early in the second half, and really Cleveland's guys really just had played, incredible basketball for, an entire first half, and then a pretty decent chunk of the third quarter. And one of the things that is important for us is our ability to wear teams down with our depth. This is an unusual situation going this deep. And having third string guys in the game, but it's an illustration, that they only had 9 or 10 guys available. And so both teams were really, really tired at the end of regulation, even more tired in the first overtime. And I thought, their guys who had played the majority of the game were just really worn out in the second overtime. And our guys were tired, but they were fresher because they hadn't played quite as much. So that's a factor. But it's kind of the story of the competitive spirit. The guys that got in there at the end for us are super hungry, super motivated, have a lot to play for. And that passion and that intensity ignited some. Our bench was really into it. Our coaching staff was into it. There was one play toward the end of regulation where Furphy gets the ball, goes down, attempts to lay the ball in, and a guy almost took his head off. And we actually showed it to the team after the game. He got knocked to the floor and got right back up, got the rebound, stayed in the play, put it back up there, and then Tony Bradley tipped it in. And, we were down 6 at the time, and that made it 4. And so a play like that where a player has the wherewithal and the toughness to withstand that kind of a hit, the injustice of a no call, and get up, stay in the play, and create a winning situation. I mean, that's something special. And Furf didn't have a great shot making day today, but he always has a great activity day. So very, very happy for him, proud of the way he competed along with a lot of the other guys.
The two-way guys, and especially Quentin, and I think, obviously, if I'm not mistaken, they're not eligible to play in the playoffs. This is kind of their last game, and they're going all out. I mean, one, what was it just like to see that competitiveness from them? And second, what's it just Quentin meant to this team overall when you've had to start him at times this year and put him on the other team's best offensive player to get that kind of performance out of him in the last game he can play for this year?
Quentin Jackson's been he's been a revelation for organization is just his upbeat vibe, his spirit. He played 39 minutes today, and he's plus 22. And look, he made some mistakes early in the game, but he's a guy that just keeps going and just keeps playing. I mean, and he's had a lot of amazing challenges in his life, and this is just who he is, And so, I really, and I think all coaches would agree with this, that an appeal should be made to the league and the Players Association for two-way players to be available in the playoffs. I mean, to be able to put that uniform on it, it's a big deal. And, these guys are good players. I mean, look at Cleveland's two-way guys, what they've done, and so, it's a moment like this is great for him on the one hand, in that, he's a big part of a historic day and a 50-win season. On the other hand, he's not going to be able to suit up for the playoffs, but those guys are going to be a big part of our preparation as we get ready for Milwaukee. So we need them.
Is there a point in that fourth quarter where you sense that kind of something special is happening? Well, I guess what's it like to, there's not been so many minutes this year where you've coached those 5 guys on the floor. Like, what's it like to just kind of, again, notice what's going on and kind of see that something special is possible there?
Yeah, they started to get some stops. Cleveland started to get a little tired, and there was some real momentum. And then, as the head coach, you've got to decide, how much play calling are you going to do? How much are you going to slow things down and intervene? Because you don't want to take away the mojo that's kind of naturally developing. So, I tried to feel my way through it. We had a couple of situations where, we had a couple of end-game situations in regulation and in the first overtime, and our excuse was pretty good. We just didn't make the shots, and then the second overtime we outlasted them. So that was it. But everybody just kept saying, let's hang in, let's somehow give ourselves a chance, and these guys were inspirational today.
Freeman plus 29. What impressed you most about him tonight?
Yeah, he's a local guy, and he got in. He didn't get into the second half, and played 31 minutes. And I don't know if he came out of the game, and so. I know how meaningful it is for him to play here. He played here in a preseason game this year, and he was honored the previous night. I think it was either at his high school, or I think it was at his high school for a jersey retirement, which was really special to him. I've sensed over the years the closeness that people of Cleveland, Ohio, in Ohio as kind of a culture have, and so. It's that part of it's cool, and he played beautifully. I mean, he took the right shots. He was involved in a lot of rebound plays, a lot of loose ball plays. The guy's fearless competitor, and he stands for what our organization wants to stand for, which is defiant competitiveness, and a guy that earns trust because of who he is and how he operates.